because she really hasn't got much going on. Let me throw this your way. When was the last time we saw Katy Perry put out a single to go all the way to the top of the Billboard chart? It had to have been Dark Horse. That was the last number one we saw from Katy Perry. Now, she had a couple of number ones in there like California Girls back in 2010, Teenage Dream, but when was the last time we saw a single, with the exception of Dark Horse, featuring Juicy Jane going to the top of the chart? Taylor Swift puts out a single and virtually every single one of them finds its way to the top of the chart. Well, when it comes to Katy Perry, they are far and in between. It's very few and very rarely that we see Katy Perry put out a single and go to the top of the chart. So when was the last time we saw that from her? Maybe a personal animosity issue exists. Maybe there's a personal grudge that can't be resolved between the two, but I just think it's a way for Katy Perry to kind of throw herself out there because she knows she hasn't got anything going on in the way of positive things, in the way of projects or promotion. We see celebrities all the time promoting different products like Colgate and Almay, like Carrie Underwood and Demi Lovato did for Skechers and Almay. It's either that or they're in some kind of TV show or they've got some kind of movie role or they're working on an upcoming album. But when it comes to Katy Perry, we don't see much from her. I think the biggest thing she did this year was actually perform at the Super Bowl show, and when she performed at the halftime Super Bowl show, she got more publicity from that than anything she had previously done up to that point, and we haven't heard anything in the way of a single from her. We haven't heard anything in the way of an upcoming album from Katy Perry, and I'm wondering how Katy Perry is going to respond to how Taylor Swift referenced her song Ghost from her 2013 album Prism. When Katy Perry drops an album expected to drop sometime between either the end of this year or early in 2016. That's the next project for Katy Perry, and this is going to be the first project from Katy Perry that we've gotten from Miss Perry in a long time. So it's going to be something to look forward to, and it's going to be interesting to see how she follows up singles like Roar and Dark Horse, which went to the top of the chart faster than any single around the time that Katy Perry had that album drop, beating out Lady Gaga's Applause by a lot of copies that were either downloaded on iTunes or albums that were sold in stores wherever music was available. It was amazing. Katy Perry and Lady Gaga competing for supremacy, and Katy Perry beat her out by millions of copies, outbeating both the individual singles Roar and Applause, and the individual albums that both of them dropped. But it seems like nobody can compete with Taylor Swift, worth millions of dollars, and no matter what Taylor Swift writes about or puts a song in about, it goes to the top of the chart. It always finds a way to bring Taylor Swift the highest honors of success and get attention. And hey, any way of getting attention for a celebrity, hey, they're going to take it, especially in a world where it's everybody for themselves, especially in a business like the music business, where you're going to do what you're going to do to get to the top, and you're going to do what you have to do to get to the top, regardless of what it is. You're going to do what your management company believes will sell and what the label thinks will sell. Obviously, is Taylor Swift running about either a personal issue or a relationship that's gone south or something just going on in general inside of her mind? And hey, the label is right. It's selling for Taylor Swift. Her songs that she writes from her own experiences is what's getting her over, and I can't imagine anything else working for Taylor Swift. I think one of the biggest moves and one of the more challenging moves that she had to make was crossover from country into pop, and a lot of people criticized her for doing that. She was able to do that, and she got the reputation very quickly, quicker than a lot of people, of being the biggest celebrity in the world. And you never hear Katy Perry referred to as the biggest celebrity in the world, no matter what she comes out with. She's got her own fragrance line. She's got her own fashion line. No matter what Katy Perry comes out with, I don't think there's any way she's going to be able to compete with Taylor Swift. Can you imagine if Taylor Swift came out with her own fragrance or fashion line, how much she would make off of that? That's an idea for her to seriously consider in the future, because we see all these different celebrities coming out with fragrance lines and fashion lines and how they promote them. Can you imagine if Taylor Swift did the same thing and took a page out of everybody else's book, like Carrie Underwood or Katy Perry? I mean, it would be amazing to see how much financial gain Taylor Swift would experience and go through if she did something like in the way of a fragrance line or a fashion line. It would be really interesting with how popular Taylor Swift is. But what it comes down to, at the end of the day, I think Taylor Swift knows how popular she is. She knows she doesn't need to be any more popular than what she already is. If she wants a movie role, if she wants to make a new album, she can do it and get away with it. She doesn't need things like fragrances or fashion lines to get herself over as much as what Katy Perry may need it, because in all honesty, with how much Katy Perry needs it, Katy Perry doesn't put out an album. So Katy Perry knows she doesn't put out an album every couple of years. It's been, what, 2.5 years since we've heard an album from Katy Perry, so she may need a fragrance line more than what Taylor Swift needs it. And that's really unfortunate because someone like Katy Perry should be just as popular, if not more popular, than what Taylor Swift is, so I can understand where the personal animosity and this grudge may be coming from, because people like Taylor Swift are always in the spotlight and taking that spotlight away from Katy Perry. It's almost like Taylor Swift can never get enough of the spotlight. And I posted a video blog some time ago here on this channel at Jonathan Clarke 22, where I talked about, Taylor Swift being a little bit too much exposed by the radio and the media. It was called Too Much Taylor Swift, and I remember talking about how we'd hear a Taylor Swift song maybe 3 or 4 times within the period of maybe 3 or 4 hours, and I talked about how it was really overkill, how Taylor Swift was played so much on syndicated radio. Within one day, you're lucky if you hear a different song as many times as what you hear a Taylor Swift song, and on average, every day a Taylor Swift song may be played 4 or 5 times within the span of 3 or 4 hours. It's amazing how much Taylor Swift's music is definitely played and overkilled. And I think that's why I'm referring to Taylor Swift more times than enough now over the last couple of months as someone who is very overrated. Yes, she's gotten away with being the biggest celebrity in the world, and deservingly so, when you have her singles played as much as what they're played on syndicated radio. But don't you think Taylor Swift is a little bit overkill? And can you understand why celebrities feel the way they do about Taylor Swift? I mean, people like Katy Perry and Hilary Duff work very diligently to get back into the music business and go to the top of the charts, and they can never do it. I mean, the days of Hilary Duff and Katy Perry seem to be over and taken over by someone like Taylor Swift, and you can't help but really feel for celebrities like Hilary Duff and Katy Perry, who try so hard to get to the top of the chart. But because people like Taylor Swift are always around, we're seeing people like Taylor Swift go to the top of the charts more than what we probably want to admit they're going to the top of the charts. And I wonder sometimes what's really going on. Now, no doubt everybody helps out Taylor Swift and helps her out very diligently and wants to see her get to the top. No doubt her management company, Big Machine Records, and her publicists want to see her go to the top all the time because they know the money that's attached with Taylor Swift. But the thing is, you really got to wonder what's going on. And is it really better for the music business to see the same 3 or 4 celebrities going to the top all the time? And it's not just the music business we're seeing the same 3 or 4 celebrities go to the top in all the time. It's either the movie business, the TV business. Everybody is going to the top, and it's the same 3 or 4 all the time. It's the same thing with professional wrestling, which we talk about a lot here on the show, the focal point of this radio network and this show. The same 3 or 4 wrestlers are always on top in the WWE and TNA, and I'm really irritated by how we see the same 3 or 4 people, in no matter what genre or what avenue we're talking about, always on top, taking that 15 minutes of fame, that proverbial spotlight away from people who probably deserve their time in the spotlight. And maybe it's time for people like Katy Perry and Hilary Duff to be given the benefit of the doubt and have Taylor Swift sit on the back burner and on the bench for a while. Because, I mean, Taylor Swift has put out album after album. They've all been #1 hits on the album. Every song on the albums virtually have gone to the top of the charts at some point. There hasn't been a song, I don't think, that Taylor Swift hasn't seen a great deal of success with. Even Highway Don't Care made it to the top of the country Billboard chart back in 2013, and Taylor Swift hadn't done anything with country in literally years. And then she comes out with a single featuring Tim McGraw and Keith Urban and gets so much publicity because of her history and her past with country music, and puts out one country song within a number of years and then goes back to pop, kind of leaves country again, goes back to pop, and comes up with this amazing album, 1989 Bad Blood. I wish more people would be given the same kind of opportunities. Apart from that, she's won every award she's been nominated for. I would imagine her trophy case takes up an entire room of her $155 million house with how many awards she has won. It's really amazing. She's won more awards than any female artist or any artist in general in her age demographic, as I said here earlier. And I mean, where does the truck stop? Where does this wave of momentum kind of die down for someone like Taylor Swift? And you got to wonder, you can't help but wonder, I know I can't help but wonder, when does all this go away for Taylor Swift? And when does the same kind of opportunity kind of pop up or appear for another celebrity who may deserve the same kind of wave of momentum to be ridden on in the way of a Taylor Swift? I was really high on Ariana Grande when Ariana Grande came out with her very first album, coming off her EP called You're Everything, and we saw singles like Problem and Bang Bang and Break Free. And I'm still really high on Ariana Grande with this new single single she has one last time. When is the same kind of opportunity going to be presented to Ariana Grande that's already been presented to Taylor Swift more times than enough? Now, Ariana Grande definitely is one of the biggest celebrities in the world right now, but she's nowhere near the category or popularity of a Taylor Swift. And we point the finger of blaming at Taylor Swift for taking this momentum away that could be on the shoulders of Ariana Grande more than what it is. Is it because of Taylor Swift we're never seeing people like Ariana and Hilary Duff going to the top of the charts? And should we really be pointing the finger of blame at Taylor Swift for doing this? You know, it's really debatable whether or not that's actually going on or not. And it seems like Taylor Swift kind of rebels in just everything going on for her and has everything her own way and knows she can get everything her own way because she's queenship, because she's worth millions of dollars every single year, no matter what she does. It could be just the smallest little project, and she gets so much publicity on her website. TaylorSwift.com is where you can find all the info about what she's going on with her projects and her tour dates and her upcoming albums and some projects we probably haven't even heard talk of before on our website, which is very updated. It's got a lot of content on there, and she keeps us in the informative loop. If she's not doing it on her website, she's doing it on her Facebook and her Twitter. But who are we pointing the finger at here? Is it Taylor Swift, or is it somebody else we should blame for the opportunities never being given to people like Ariana and Hilary, who get the same opportunity, who could be getting the same opportunities apart from a Taylor Swift, but for some reason it's not happening? Maybe it's because Taylor Swift is too much overkill or just too overrated here in 2015. Now, without a doubt, definitely 2015 was one of her more successful years. Apart from any other year she's been involved with the music business, what has it been now? Over 6 or 7 years, we've heard everything about Taylor Swift, and she's been publicized so much by the tabloids, by magazines, by TMZ.com. Every celebrity website has something to say about her, so I can understand where the hatred, if in fact it does exist between Katy Perry and Taylor Swift, is coming from. Because can you imagine being in the same position as a Katy Perry, you know, trying so hard to put yourself out there, promoting an album or a project or a fashion or fragrance line, and then you always read about people like Taylor Swift all the time on Perez and TMZ.com. I mean, really? Do we really need to be hearing about Taylor Swift as much